From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, 5 passengers abducted in Katsina as IGP orders security beef up around hospitals nationwide. Military rescues another Chibok girl and 3 others. Flood kill 50, render many homeless in Jigawa State. Away from Nigeria, Raila Odinga maintains slim lead as Kenyan election results trickle in. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Beginning with security matters, terrorists abducted some passengers on Saturday in a broad daylight at Dutz and Kura on Katsina Batsari Road. The persons who were kidnapped around 2:30 p.m. include women and children, as well as lecturer of Cherish International University, Batsari. Trust TV's Abdullahi Amadi reports that Dutz and Kura is one of the notorious spots on Katsina Batsari Road where armed robbery and kidnapping occur daily. Travelers along Katsina Batsari Road are calling on security operatives to mount roadblocks or ensure frequent patrol of the area to secure the road. Troops of Operation Hatinkai have rescued another Chibok girl and 3 others abducted by Boko Haram terrorists over 8 years ago. In a statement on Saturday on its Facebook page, the army said that the victims were rescued by troops of 21 Special Armored Brigade Sector 1 Operation Hatinkai at Bama local government area of Borno State. The Chibok girl, Aisha Grema, was received by the President Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOA. Salamatu donated relief materials and financial support to the newly rescued Aisha Grema and 3 others at Maimalari Military Cantonment, Maiduguri. Now, residents of Zamfara State are living in fear of being attacked, abducted or killed by terrorists and have come to see insecurity as a regular part of their lives. As a result of deep distrust, residents no longer extend the usual hospitality to visitors and strangers for fear that they could be terrorist informants. Silas Adamu sampled the opinions of some residents in Gusau, the state capital. His report is presented from our studio.
Activities of bandits in Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, have tremendously changed the way residents live their lives in the state. According to some residents, there are 2 groups of people in the state. Firstly, there are people who live under the fear that they could be attacked, kidnapped or killed, either in the houses, farmlands or roads. On the other hand, there are residents who have resigned themselves to fate that insecurity has come to be part of their lives, therefore, they have no reason to fear. The sad thing in that insecurity has created distrust among residents, so they do not share their movements with neighbors or family members because of the fear of bandits, informants who have been described as more dangerous than the bandits themselves.
All the majority is still living in fear. You cannot trust anyone. Nobody will know your movement because the person close to you can be an informant. So you cannot trust anybody. You can live, anybody is on his own. Whatever you are going to do, you are going to do secretly between only you and your wife or you and some of your relatives.
A civil society activist, Musa Aboki, said some communities have established early warning and early response as one of the security measures to protect members of their community from the suspected bandits attacked. A resident, Ismail Abubakar, observed that there are volunteer groups popularly known as Yansa Kai, who organize themselves to secure their communities against the deadly murderers who unleash terror on the innocent poor people. Aboki and Abubakar are of the view that community initiatives can only be very effective in the fight against banditry if government assists the local vigilante operatives to address the prevailing insecurity in the state and the country at large.
For us that are working in the area of peace building, we have seen how the insecurity has defined the lives of our people in Zamfara State in two ways. One, it has to do with those who have believed that it is a natural phenomenon that has come to stay and we should be able to continue with our normal businesses. While the other category people have been living under fear of attack either within their houses or while on the road traveling from one environment to another.
The insecurity has adversely affected the education and health sector, as teachers and health workers do not want to go to work in rural communities which are vulnerable to bandit attacks for fear that they could be attacked and be kidnapped ransom by suspected bandits. And this is not only left to teachers alone.
Among citizens.
Suspicion is widely there because people are no more trust. You see a situation whereby a younger brother being an informer to kidnap his elder brother. We see instances whereby a son contributed to the kidnapping of his father. All this as a result of inciting fear by the bandit or as a result of one factor or the other.
The resident wants federal and Zamfara state government to scale up the ongoing offensive against the bandit so as to restore peace, stability, and order in the state in particular and the country in general.
Staying with security, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered all commissioners of police across 36 states of the Federation, as well as Federal Capital Territory, to deploy watertight security arrangements to cover hospitals and health workers. Baba gave this directive while reviewing the general security situation of the nation after receiving reports from commands and formations across the country. Spokesman of the police, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who disclosed this through a statement released on Sunday, said that heads of police in the states were also directed to ensure schools and other critical national infrastructures in their domain were secured. The police chief specifically ordered the commissioners of police to ensure that there were regular patrols, stop and search operations, raids and show of force by tactical commanders to clamp down on pockets of crime and criminality being recorded in some states of the Federation. Southern Kaduna People's Union, SOKAPU, says that Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai's alarm on activities of terrorists now running a parallel government in the state is belated and unfortunate admission. Speaking to journalists on Saturday in Kaduna, acting president of SOKAPU, Awemi Maisamari, noted that indeed the terrorists have not only taken over the state but had been running the government since 2019. Maisamari noted that El-Rufai's admission is a confirmation of the various alarms continuously raised by SOKAPU and Southern Kaduna Community Development Associations since 2019. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has asked the Ebira community to maintain the good relationship they had with the indigents of the state. This is contained in a press statement issued on Sunday by his Chief Press Secretary, Richard Olatunde, and made available to newsmen in Akure. The statement said that the governor spoke at a closed-door meeting with the leaders of the Ebira community. Akeredolu said that the meeting was summoned in the light of the June 5 church massacre in Owo and other kidnapping cases in the state. Akeredolu, who said that the Ebira people had lived together with the indigents of the state for a very long time, implored them not to deviate from their farming trade. The governor urged them to join hands with the government to rid the state of criminality. Now, men of Osun State Police Command have arrested a 22-year-old student of Federal Polytechnic, Ede Akintunde Olani, for allegedly burgling shops in the community. Akintunde was arrested by the Anti-Vice Intelligence Squad of the Osun State Police Command. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, Yemisi Opalola, told Trust TV's Hamid Oegbade that some of the items stolen by the suspects were recovered from him. She added that some of his victims have identified their properties among items recovered from the suspect. In an exclusive interview with our correspondent in Oshobo, the suspect confessed to the crime.
So that's why I got arrested to the police custody.
What are the things you stole?
I stole clothes, shoes, home accessories, and so on, and other home house chores. I operate in the evening around 7. That's when I start to survey the shop I wanted to burgle. Whenever I want to break into a shop, I use these tools. I used to no, not most times though. I use these tools. I use it to break the keys at the entrance of a shop. So whenever I gain access into the shop, I'll pack many things, like I'll pack things that I wanted. So I'll use a sack bag, which is at the back. So after using the sack bag, I carried it on my own. I carry it alone on my head. Then I will start heading to my place.
Residents of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, have expressed mixed reactions to the restriction placed on commercial motorcyclists, also known as Okada, in the state. The restriction limits the operations of commercial motorcycles from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Here's the report.
Benue State has not been spared the negative impact of motorcycle operations in recent times, hence the restriction in the operational hours of operators. A check around the city center reveals that while some say they have complied, others are still in the business beyond 8 p.m. against the government's order.
Duty of the security to arrest anybody who is violating the rule, because some policemen do work in the night. Or anything happening that they will be replaced, or the name Okada will be implied using it as an Okada man. So if they arrest such a person, bring your ID card, where are you from, where are you working in the night? It will be very simple to clear this issue. But to me, I think I'm very, very, very much happy, because our life is very important and our security too is very, very important.
Although workers in the state say the restriction is a good policy, they however noted that it does not favor those whose assignments run into the night.
Okada by 8 o'clock, to me as a person, I think it's uncalled for. Yes, because we have different intervals at which people carry out their work activities and their businesses. Yeah, so I think bringing or restricting them by 8, restricting the movement of Okada by 8, to me I think is uncalled for.
Government of Benue State believes that the restriction in the operation of Okada riders from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily would help improve the security situation across the state.
To stop Okada by 8 o'clock in Makurdi is good, because 70% of we Okada, we take risk in the night, because some other boys, they are jobless, they don't have nothing doing. They believe that they will use somebody's blood and survive, which is they're killing us in the night. Due to people stop Okada in Makurdi is by 8 o'clock is very good, because it's for our own safe, and to help our life.
The government of Benue State believes that the restriction in the operation of Okada riders from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily would help improve the security situation across the state.
To another tragic incident, 50 people have died, with many displaced as flood ravages parts of Jigawa State. Addressing journalists in Dutse on Saturday, the Executive Secretary, State Emergency Management Agency, Sani Yusuf, said the flood destroyed thousands of homes in the state. He stated that the situation forced Jigawa residents to take refuge in other places, which include government buildings. Some of the victims are drawn from Balangu village, where no fewer than 237 houses were destroyed, with 4 people dead. As part of the federal government's intervention efforts, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadia Umar, visited the northwestern state to distribute relief materials. In his remarks, the Jigawa State Governor Badaru Abubakar commended the federal government for what he described as a quick response to the incident. He lamented the flooding situation, saying that it has caused so much trauma to the victims. The governor is hopeful that the government's intervention will cushion the effect on the people. The Sako shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, has witnessed increased illicit drug activity in the last few weeks, and the United Arab Emirates seem to be the destination of choice. Officers of the NDLEA have uncovered no fewer than 442 parcels of crystal methamphetamine concealed in heads of fish. The anti-drug agency also intercepted 1.45 kilograms of cannabis concealed inside granulated melon and crayfish and packed among other food condiments. The report.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) intercepted no fewer than 442 parcels of crystal methamphetamine concealed in heads of fish meant for export to Dubai. 32-year-old Paul Adekunle was promptly arrested upon the discovery that the 7 cartons he presented for export, weighing 11.90 kilograms, contained parcels of the dangerous drug wrapped in foil paper and concealed in the heads of hundreds of smoked catfish. The anti-drug agency also intercepted 1.45 kilograms of cannabis concealed inside granulated melon and crayfish and packed among other food condiments going to Dubai, arresting 39-year-old freight agent Ajishefini Latif, who presented the cargo for export at the Sako shed. Away from Lagos, anti-narcotic officers at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, arrested 50-year-old Victor Gbeogbuna following his arrival from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on board an Ethiopian airline flight. Gbeogbuna had ingested 77 pellets of cocaine and passed out the illicit drugs in 8 excretions spanning 4 days. In Kaduna, 3 suspects, Saifullah Sani, Salisu Nafiu and Abdulrazak Mamman, were arrested in Zaria with 1,112,350 tablets of tramadol, weighing 38.3 kilograms. While in Kanu, a female drug dealer, Sarit Abdullahi, was nabbed with 541 blocks of cannabis, weighing 245 kilograms. Chairman, Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Muhammad Buba Marwa, commended the officers and men of the agency for the seizures and arrests and urged them to always stay a step ahead of the drug cartels.
Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to give 7 million Nigerians who have carried out their voter registration online the opportunity to complete the process. Saraf says denying eligible voters the opportunity to complete the registration for their PVCs will disenfranchise those affected and deny them a voice in the 2023 general elections. Sarap Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare stressed that the right to vote was not merely the right to cast a ballot, but also the right to be given the opportunity to complete the registration process so that the right could be meaningfully and effectively exercised. The civil society organization therefore threatened legal action if INEC did not reverse itself on its decision to close the continuous voters registration. And now on political matters, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Adamu, says he is optimistic that the crisis rocking the party in some states will be resolved before the 2023 general elections. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Trust TV, Adamu said that the APC is working to win the 2023 elections, adding that reconciliation is always a work in progress. Speaking on the performance of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, he said that the infrastructural development taking place in the country has not taken place over the last 20 years until Buhari came. He said that the government is doing as much as the present circumstances allows it to do. The All Progressives Congress senatorial candidate of Jigawa Central, Alhaji Tijani Ibrahim Kiawa, is dead. He died in a China hospital after being admitted at a private clinic in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, from where he was flown to China. Ibrahim was one-time House of Representatives member representing Dutse Kiawa Federal Constituency for 2 terms. He decamped to ruling APC after losing his election in 2015. In his condolence message, Jigawa Governor Abubakar Badaru expressed shock over the incident. Badaru described late Kiawa as a man of honor, a great leader and a role model to the younger generation who has sacrificed his whole life to serve the common man. You're watching Trust News Updates. Trust News Hour, rather, coming up shortly. Benefits of mother tongue in education. We'll take a look at this and more after the break. Join us again.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
That's good. You could see
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. 5 passengers abducted in Katsina as IGP orders security beef up around hospitals nationwide. Military rescues another Chibok girl and 3 others. In other news, art speaks the language everyone can understand. It speaks through painting, sculpture, or drawings. Artists can say things that words sometimes cannot say. And in this report, Trust TV's Kabir Lawal examines the importance of art and how youth can be self-reliant using work of art.
Art is viewed as important because it's a way of documenting and preventing or preserving history. Historic art tells a story about society and how cultures evolve, giving insight and different perspectives. From billboards, street signs, and art tells story too. Whether it's advertising or purely for appreciation, creativity is everywhere. Stanley Chima, who makes a card in Abuja, said the work of art has been keeping food on the table for him, despite the economic situation in the country. He further said if the youth can bring out the talent in them, it will go a long way to make them contribute their quota to the upliftment of the country.
When I first learn about the card, I feel motivated about the work, and everything about it is giving me joy. The way we place our artwork, the way we place the artwork, I really like it. So I'm very motivated to do more, so that I will bring out the best I can. In this our country now, we will not rely on one source. The advice I advise to my fellow youth is that they should look for handwork that will fetch them money, and they should focus on it.
Stanley Chima also added that the art is a great way to calm yourself and decrease threat levels, calling on governments and well-to-do individuals to complement youth's effort to be more productive.
The federal government should please and encourage we the youth that are looking for work to have something to survive, because some of our youth are on the street doing some kind of things which is not common. So I will advise the government to come outside and encourage us and create job opportunity for us.
From these accounts, the importance of arts cannot be overemphasized in any given society. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, days after reopening of Abuja's largest park, desperate fun seekers yearning to unwind at the famous Millennium Park were seen defying a cold, rainy weather to access the facility. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman captures the moment some of the fun seekers dared the heavy downpour to relax after their busy working days.
Behind me is the entrance of the Millennium Park, a park that was conceived, designed and constructed some 22 years ago here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to provide avenue for fun seekers, to find time, to relax, and of course after the day's job. It also provide an avenue for Abuja residents, to carry out various, ceremonies like picnics, like birthday parties and what have you. But it was shut down, on the 21st of December 2020 as a result, of the COVID-19 pandemic. Since it was shut down, Abuja residents have been finding it a little bit difficult, to access this facility and of course find time to relax. But now that the ban has been lifted, precisely on the 1st of August this year, fun seekers are trooping in spite of the weather. For instance, today has been a rainy day, very chilly, and of course as the rain still drizzles, you find people coming in to catch fun or to have one or two events for themselves and their friends. But then they are also concerned about some of the guidelines that have been provided as a result of the COVID interventions, if you like, or restrictions. We'll talk to one of them here to tell us how exactly they are finding this regulation.
This is a period where the children are on holiday, and of course, having stayed in school for quite a number of weeks, I think that the period they are home, they need to have some time for relaxation. And of course, that is the basis why we felt as family we should come out here to have the serene, enjoy the serene weather and have ourselves relaxed under this very nice atmosphere of Millennium Park. On arriving here, we were told that each person were required to present their evidence of vaccination of COVID-19 vaccine. And of course, it became a thing of a surprise to all of us, because when it was officially declared open, we never knew about this guideline. It was just on arrival to this place that was made known to us.
I am very much since the weather is the rain is drizzling now, so it will be more fun.
Of course, it shows that they are really interested in accessing this facility anytime, any day. The shutdown that took place for over 2 years must have put them on the edge, and now they are hungry, to visit this facility once again. From Millennium Park in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Zamfara Governor Bello Muhammad has urged residents of the state to receive the COVID-19 vaccine to prevent the spread of the disease in the state. The governor made the call when he officially flagged off the Scale 3.0 accelerated COVID-19 vaccination campaign in Gusau, the state capital. The report.
The flag-off of the Scale 3.0 accelerated COVID-19 vaccination campaign at the Government House Gusau is to improve on the gains of Scale 2.0 COVID-19 vaccination exercise, where 26% were fully vaccinated. Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalli charged traditional rulers, local government sole administrators, religious leaders, and other relevant stakeholders to mobilize residents of the state to receive the vaccine.
This strategy aims to increase vaccination rate for children and COVID-19 among the general public in our district. The strategy was designed to expand public access to COVID-19 vaccines beyond conventional health facilities. It is hoped to further reduce the spread of COVID-19 virus by boosting immunity response.
The Commissioner for Health, Zamfara State, Aliyu Abubakar, said the state would not slow down its efforts in administering the COVID-19 vaccination as the pandemic is still in place. He said the Scale 3.0 accelerated COVID-19 vaccination would be anchored on a 3-month intensive campaign based on incentives and accountability in the state.
Your Excellency, going by the data available, only 3 LGS have vaccination coverage of 50%, leaving 11 LGS performing suboptimally in terms of COVID vaccination coverage. Hence the need for the team to refine the current Scales 3.0 strategy to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination.
Your Excellency, since the beginning of the fight against COVID-19 in the state, we as Ministry of Health and State Primary Health Care enjoyed very high level of support, and that has attributed to the successes that have been recorded over a long period of time.
So far, 44% of residents were vaccinated during the Scale 2.0 COVID-19 vaccination strategies in the state, 18% of whom were partially vaccinated. To ramp up participation, the state governor pledged to reward any local government that performs above average during the Scale 3.0 accelerated COVID-19 vaccination strategies.
The National Commission for Colleges of Education has nominated the Federal College of Education, Technical Gombe, for the implementation of Early Grade Reading EGR program. The Early Grade Reading program is to train teachers on how to teach children mother tongue and English language at the basic level. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Speaking during an assessment visit to the FCET Gombe, the Executive Secretary, National Commission for Colleges of Education, Professor Paulinus Chijoke, said his team is satisfied by the level of preparedness at the FCET Gombe to kickstart the early grade reading program.
Well, from what we have seen, we can see the readiness of the college to kickstart this project. We are very impressed with what we have seen, and I assure you that to go back and make our reports and send to the relevant authority in no distant time, the project will kickstart in this place. just like other ones.
The Provost, Federal College of Education, Technical Gombe, Dr. Ali Adamu Boderi, assured to ensure successful implementation of the project.
I want to seize this opportunity to show our appreciation to our able ES for finding us worthy to kickstart or to implement the EGR model program. In fact, I think we remain indebted to him, and I want to assure him the Federal College of Education Technical Gombe, we are ready. You have seen that we are ready to kickstart the implementation of the program. I want to assure you once again that we are going to support the program 100%. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Jamil Minkaila is the Dean School of Early Childhood Care and Primary Education, FCET Gombe.
We have a problem of reading ability or literacy as far as our education system is concerned. The problem is that we used to have children that finished their first school, that is primary school, but you will see them having difficulty in reading both English and the mother tongue texts. Somebody who has attended such primary school before graduation should be able to read and write in English language and his mother tongue.
The Federal College of Education, Technical Gombe, is expected to start implementation of the early grade reading program in no distant future. Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Holiday schooling, also known as summer school or lessons, have become popular among parents and teachers in Nigeria. In it, parents arrange for students to continue attending classes during the long holidays, which are meant to be rest periods for the children. In this report, we attempt answers on the appropriateness or not of these classes at a time children are supposed to take a break. The report.
For Tokula Florence, a teacher with a private school in Makodi, there is some level of continuity in learning that goes on as a result of summer school. This, she argues, will not allow the children to forget what has been learned due to the length of the break.
If they are here, they keep themselves up to date in their studies. By the time they resume back to school, most of the things that are being taught, they are the topics, new topic introduced to them, getting into their new classes. So whenever they resume, they don't find it difficult in picking up their studies.
A pupil in one of the summer schools in Makodi says he is happy to learn at this time. He also says he will do better than his mates who are on holidays without classes.
I'm here for summer lesson. This is St. Teresa Private School. I'm here to learn. If schools resume, you know more about, well, like if the teacher teach you now, you know what, like the teacher teach you a new topic, they taught you the topic on the summer lesson, you are going to remember it, your brain will be fast at work.
To some, the summer school is an abuse on the pupils. This set agrees with curriculum planners that pupils should rest at some point, noting that continuous learning without a break can cause a strain on the mental well-being of the pupils.
Those who plan the curriculum, they are not wrong, or they have not done anything bad by making it in such a way that it will get to a time that children will be given a time or a period for them to rest at home.
To strike a balance in the holiday summer learning argument, some are of the opinion that the government should wade into and regulate the use of the long holiday period to ensure that pupils not only learn but also rest during the long holiday period.
When you are away from home and they are at home playing, they may start thinking and going some other places that you wouldn't like as a parent. So I encourage there should be summer lessons.
The argument for or against summer lessons, many say, will continue to generate mixed reactions until a balance is reached, maybe through government intervention.
The federal government has given Ntata and Sao Construction Company a December deadline for completion of the Kano Western Bypass road construction being handled by the firm in Kano State. Minister of State for Works and Housing, Umar Ibrahim El Yaqub, gave the ultimatum Saturday while inspecting the 26.6-kilometer dual carriage road. He lamented that the work has been progressing slowly, adding that it must be completed before the end of the year. Earlier, representative of the project's engineer Kasimu Maigwandu lamented that rising inflation, especially in the price of diesel, was the major challenge hampering the work. He, however, said that with the present 71.18% level of completion, the company was confident of delivering it before the given deadline. We'll now take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Please join us again.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Now to stories away from Nigeria. Deputy President William Ruto edged ahead of his main rival, Raila Odinga, in Kenya's presidential election as the country remained on its tenterhooks for the final election outcome. According to figures from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which tallied results from nearly 50% of constituencies, Ruto scored 51.25% of the vote on Sunday, reversing earlier gains for Odinga, who scored 48.09%. The Electoral Commission has until Tuesday to declare a winner. The winning candidate must receive 50% of the national vote plus one and at least 25% of the vote from 24 of 47 counties. At least one person has been killed and an unknown number of people are feared trapped in rubble after a strong explosion ripped through a retail market in Armenia's capital, Yerevan. Spokesman for the Yerevan mayor, Levon Saradaryan, said rescue workers are working to pull people out of the rubble. There are fears that casualty figures will increase. According to the ministry relevant to the emergency situations, the fires started where fireworks are sold. The Ministry of the Emergency Situation said that there were 10 fire engines on the spot and 10 more were dispatched to the Surmalu market, located about 2 kilometers south of the city's center. The cause of the blast is still unconfirmed. At least 41 people were killed and 14 others injured in a fire at a church in the city of Giza near Cairo, Egypt's Coptic church. An electrical fire broke out as 5,000 worshippers gathered for mass, causing a stampede. 15 fire engines were dispatched to the scene to put out the flames, while ambulances ferried the casualties to nearby hospitals. Egypt's health ministry had earlier said that several people were killed in the fire at the Abu Sifin Coptic church in the Imbaba neighborhood on Sunday, and that ambulances transferred at least 55 injured people to local hospitals. And an initial investigation pointed to an electrical short circuit. According to a police statement, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had earlier spoken by phone with the Coptic Christian Pope Tawadros II to offer his condolences. The first ship carrying Ukrainian wheat to be exported under a UN brokered deal has arrived in Istanbul, according to the Joint Coordination Center based in the Turkish city. The Belize-flagged vessel is the first to carry wheat from Ukraine through the Black Sea since Russia's invasion. The Soromosky was loaded with 3,050 tons of wheat and had left Ukraine's port of Chernomorsk on Friday. The ship was seen crossing the Bosporus Strait and docking there, awaiting inspection. It was the first shipment of wheat from Ukraine, which, along with Russia, accounted for nearly a third of global wheat exports before Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February. Israeli police have arrested a suspect in a shooting attack on a bus in Jerusalem's Old City that wounded at least 8 people, 2 critically. The attack took place in the early hours of Sunday as the bus carrying Israelis waited in a parking lot near the Western Wall, a holy prayer site for Jews. The victims included a 35-year-old pregnant woman, according to the Times of Israel newspaper. A suspect later turned himself into Israeli authorities, according to a statement by the police, which did not identify him. We'll now take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Join us again.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back from that break. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Now let's take a look at some sports stories. Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag cancelled a planned day off on Sunday after the 4-0 humiliation at Brentford. With no game until the visit of Liverpool to Old Trafford on 22nd of August, Ten Hag had intended to let his squad have the rest of the weekend off. However, the manner of Saturday's loss prompted him to revise his plans. It is understood that he was at Carrington early on Sunday to mull over the nature of a defeat that has drawn plenty of criticism from both fans and pundits. British number 2 Dan Evans was beaten by Pablo Carreño Busta in the Canadian Open semi-finals in Montreal. Although Evans became the first player to take a set off the Spaniard in the tournament, he lost 7-5, 6-7, 6-2 in almost 3 hours. Carreño Busta, ranked 23rd in the world, will play Poland's Hubert in his first ATP Masters final. Hurkacz dropped his first set before fighting back to beat Kasper Ruud of Norway 5-7, 6-3, 6-2. Former F1 driver Stoffel Vandoorne has clinched the Formula E title for the departing Mercedes team at the season's final race in South Korea on Sunday. Jaguar's Mitch Evans needed to win, and Hope Vandoorne finished no better than 8th, but the Belgian made sure of the title by finishing second to Venturi's Eduardo Mortara in Seoul. New Zealander Evans had closed the gap to 21 points after winning from 3rd on Saturday, but qualified only 13th for Sunday's race as he lost the title by 33 points. Mortara finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, a further 11 points back, with Briton Jake Dennis 6th in the final standings after his podium finish in Sunday's race. And that's it for the News Hour. You can watch more via all our social media platforms, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilia. Thank you for watching.